So now we start the Gauss-Jordan elimination method. Before we go into the details of it, let me just say, let us rewrite the equation again. So 2x minus y equal to 0 and minus x plus 2y equal to 3. All right, now first observe the fact that the order in which I have written it, so this equation goes first and this equation goes second. The order of writing these two equations, that doesn't affect the solution. So if I write this equation first, that is not going to change my problem, right? So that must carry forward here also, right, in this augmented matrix. So what you can write is that interchanging the rows does not affect solution. Okay. Then number 2, if I multiply any of these equations by a constant in both sides, then I will not change the equation, right? So that means multiplying by a constant, okay, it will write like this: multiplying a row by a constant again doesn't affect solution, right? So if I write, instead of 2x minus y, if I write it 4x minus 2y equal to 0, I have multiplied it by 2. What's the harm? No harm. And when I am saying multiplication, I am including division, right? Always keep that in mind. I'm not saying multiplying by an integer or something, multiplying by anything. Okay. So what is the third one? The third one is not that readily visible, but the third one is this. See, if I add something here, let's say if I add 5 in both sides on the first equation, I'm not changing anything, right? I mean, that goes for the second also. Now let us extend our idea a bit. What if I add the second equation with the first equation? That also doesn't change my solution, does it? And not only that, adding two equations or multiplying by multiplying something, adding two equations, it has always been our favorite approach. In the first case, we solved it in this way. We multiplied the second equation with something, so that gives us the second rule: multiplying by a constant doesn't affect the solution. And then we added these two. So that means what? That means adding the rows, or rather like this, not the rows, that will adding two rows again does not affect solution. Okay, so what do we have here? 3 operations which can be done here and solution will remain same, and by virtue of that, 3 operations what you can do here, and it will not affect the solution. So what are those? We can interchange the rows. We can multiply one row by a constant. Most of the time it will be a fraction. And we can add two rows if we like. Also, we can combine these two. We will combine these two. That is, multiply first row with something and then add it to the second row. That also can be done. There is no problem with that. Okay. Looking at the original problem, we observe the fact that we can actually do that. Now, if we do that, what will happen? Okay. The objective of Gauss-Jordan elimination method is to reduce this matrix, this part of the matrix, in only zeros and ones. Okay. So it can be reduced. How will the 0 and 1 will be distributed? Those are very different arguments, very different questions. But our objective is to reduce this matrix, that is our A, in zeros, only in zeros and ones. Okay. And the repeated application of these three operations, most of the time the last two will suffice. So repeated application of those two will give me that. And remember, since we are working with augmented matrix, if I choose to multiply this row with something, I have to do the same for numbers appearing in the rows of B also. Okay, so the first thing that we do is divide. So we are taking R1 dash, which is R1 divided by 2. So what will have 1, minus 1, minus 1, 2, then 0, 3. Okay, remember what we did. So what is our step 1? Make the number at position 1, 1 as 1, that is numerical 1. So that's what we achieved first. Okay, then what we do, then we go in this direction. Okay, so our objective, technically speaking, our objective is to have ones in diagonal term, in the diagonal, and zeros in the off diagonal terms. But I'm not saying that, I've not said that earlier, because that's not the kind of matrix you may always end up with. Okay, you may end up with matrices with 0 and 1 in many, in one in off diagonal places also, and zeros appearing in the diagonal also. So those are always possible. But our objective basically is to make the matrix progress rather in such a way that the diagonals become 1 and off diagonals become 0. Okay, so basically we are trying to reach an identity matrix. Okay, so that's how we proceed. So we make this one as 1, then we go this way and make this one 0. So how do you do that? So let's write R2 dash is basically R2 plus R1 dash. So what will we have? 1 minus 1, 0, that is intact. And then if I add them, this becomes 0, this becomes 1, and this remains 3. Is it? Yes. So I made a mistake here it will be half. Sorry. Here also it will be half. And this one, it will be 3 by 2. Sorry. Okay. So I have 1 here, I have 0 here. Then this place. So now I go in this direction, make this one 1. So how do I do that? That's very simple. R2 double dash is 2 by 3 R2 dash. Okay. So that will make this element 1. So 1 minus half, 0, 1. This is 2. Now the last one, I go in this direction to make this one 0. That's very simple. So R1 double dash will be R2 double dash by 2 plus R1 dash. So you're going to divide the last second row by 2 and then add it here. So what will you have? So let me just write this one intact. Above it will be 1. This will be half. If I add, it becomes 0. This will be 1. So 1. Right? And now, since we know that the solution didn't change, what we have here? Here we have, so see the problem, we have shown that our original problem, it didn't change. The solution remains the same. So that means writing this one as a form of simultaneous equation and writing this one as a form of simultaneous equation, I am writing the same problem. So my problem is, so the problem that was given to me is now changed to this one. 1, 0, 0, 1, x, y, 1, 2. And you can readily see the answer. X1 equal to 1, sorry, x equal to 1 and y equal to 2. Okay, so it's done. Now, just to mention, we have reached an identity matrix here. This is not always, it's not the fact that you can always reach it. Okay, and we'll study that. That will be our concern. But for the time being, this is how we do it. Now, if I'm interested in the solution, it's not really true that I have to proceed as long as I do not reduce the matrix in zeros and ones. Okay, you don't have need to proceed. You can stop right here. Okay, we can stop here and go for the solution. You see, if I stop here, then also finding the solution is pretty easy. And why it is easy? It's easy because here I have one value. Since I have 0, 1 and 2, I know that y is 2. I just put it in the first equation, I can get the answer. So even I can stop here and find the solution. That will not really kind of extend my my time to solve the equations a lot by a good length. That's not true. So we actually reduce here, stop here and solve the answer. So what is our stopping point? The first time I get the solution of at least one of the variable, I stop there. So this form has a special name. This form is called row reduced echelon form. I am writing the complete term. So row reduced echelon form. Okay. So what is the speciality of this form? The speciality of this form is, number one, diagonal contain only zeros and ones. Okay. So we are keeping the possibility that we can end up with 0. Number two, preceding the diagonal element there can be let me write it here. So there can be only zeros in each row. So what I'm saying is that if I travel row wise, then diagonal will contain only zeros and ones. So two diagonals, they contain 1, satisfied. Then what I'm saying, that if I proceed row wise, then preceding that diagonal elements, there can be only zeros. So there is no element before 1, that's not possible. Before this 1, I have 0. So I have done. Right? So that's how I stop here. This is my row reduced echelon form. And from that, since I have the value of y here, solution of one variable, I just find the other two. Okay, so the methodology that we followed is called the Gauss-Jordan elimination method. Okay, so we reduce the rows, we follow the 3 basic row operations. These are called 3 basic row operations, and we are allowed to do them because they don't change the solution. That's the reason. Okay, it's not that we just fancy do it. And that's how we solve it. So obviously in future we'll take equations which will give us not really identity matrices in A or this kind of form. Okay, we'll take equations which will result in several different things, including non-existence of solution and infinitely many solutions. Just to mention, the route we followed is this. We started with this element, then went in this direction, then went in this direction, and then went in this direction. Now, theoretically speaking, the elimination method doesn't specify this route. There is no such thing. Then why do we do that? Simply because it's easy. It's easy to count. It is less confusing. If you do something else, it's not that you will get wrong answers, but the probability of you being confused and make some silly mistake is quite high. So this is how we proceed. First diagonal 1 1, then we go down to the next row, then go to the diagonal element of that row, then again start from the first one, then go to the diagonal element of that row, and so on. Okay, that's how we do it.